Joining us in studio, Nick Caley, new offensive coordinator for your Texans. Coach, welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to be here.
Well, tell us, I want to start here. What's the first order of business for you? Poring over game footage, making plans for 2025. How do you go about your business initially?
Yeah, probably getting my laptop set up and getting all the boxes, a few boxes I had unpacked. But in all seriousness, just really getting with the staff, kind of getting organized here in the first couple of days that I've been in town, and then obviously getting through some tape. Already got to jump on some of that, but trying to move forward with that day by day.
Nick, heard different coordinators, head coaches talk about this when they take over in a different location. Some of them want to see everything that happened in 2023 or the previous year, 2024. Some are like, nope, starting brand new. How do you kind of dive in as the offensive coordinator? Do you want to watch everything from last year? Do you want to get a beat on it? Or are you just coming in fresh? This is what I want to do, and this is how we're going to do it. We'll take some of those things, but I don't really want to dive into last year much.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just getting a feel for the players, what their strengths are, what their play style is, and just, how, we view them in terms of moving forward as a staff and how we can use them, moving forward. Scheme, it changes, it evolves, even in continuous years with the same set of coaches and players. You'll evolve those things from year to year. I don't think anybody ever stays the same. Right. If you do that, you'll end up getting, you got to evolve. Yeah. So from that standpoint, really, trying to identify what the players do best and getting a feel for them. And then obviously you get them on the grass here in a couple months and get ready to rock and roll.
You've been around a lot of different quarterbacks, Tom Brady, Cam Newton, Matthew Stafford. What do you see in CJ Stroud, Coach?
I see a competitor, an ultimate competitor, a guy that loves football, competes at a high level, has a very good arm talent, can spin it, he throws accurate. And he can play off schedule, and he's instinctive. So there's a lot of things to really like, and I can't wait to get an opportunity to work with him and just build a relationship and pave the way going forward.
One of the things, Nick, that Mark and I have talked about over the years is that tight ends coaches are probably the most important coaches, and I'm not kissing up. You'll see where I'm going with this in a second. But the tight end coaches are so important because they've got to be involved in the run game and every aspect of the run game. Sure. They've got to be important to the pass protection.
Yep.
They've got to be important to the passing game, getting out running routes and things like that. As the tight end position, you obviously have spent a lot of time with it. How important does it become to this offense that you want to create here in Houston?
Oh, very important. And I think we have an exceptional tight end coach in Jake Moreland, and really excited to get to work with him. But yeah, I mean, I've told the guys for a long time, that, and it's selfish probably when you're coaching the position, but that's the straw that stirs the drink. Show me a really physical run game, and I'll show you really physical tight ends. And I think it starts an extension of the offensive line to control the line of scrimmage when you can affect the game in the passing game, and you can get mismatches on safeties, backers, et cetera. You can extend guys. You can get open and catch the ball with size and stature as well. Very important. That position is very important to me. And, again, I'm maybe a little bit biased, but I believe that with everything in my being.
You mentioned Jake Moreland. You've been with Cole Popovich before in New England. What about working with your assistant coaches, Coach? How's that relationship going to go for you?
Oh, it's huge. It's not one person. It's a staff. And you lean on a staff, and we're all in this together. And I have a lot of trust and confidence in all the guys here, and we're all in this together. It's us. It's about us. It's about our players, and we're going to be connected from that standpoint.
What was this process like for you, Nick?
It was great. It happened. Everything kind of happened fast. You don't ever really. I always try to be present. I've always tried to be where my feet are. Really enjoyed our time in Los Angeles. My family, and that was a hard place to leave because there was a lot of great people. Mm-hmm. And when this opportunity opened up, very exciting and very intriguing. So it was, and like I said, it was about the people here, and I couldn't be more excited to be here, and to be with Coach Ryans and this team and this staff.
All right, so the John Carroll Alumni Association has a lot of connections here, all right? So could you discuss that a little bit, your relationship with some of the guys who have been to that school, because Nick Caserio, for one, and many others, Frank Ross, for instance?
Yeah, there's a lot of great people. A very good Division III school on the east side of Cleveland with a lot of guys that really love football. And, there's a lot of people that have paved the way, going back to, obviously, Don Shula, et cetera, going back. So it's a special place. And I'm really, it shaped me. And even my years there, I had always looked and wrote and reached out and tried to email and just learn from the people that had come before me. So it's a special place, and there's a lot of people that have gone through there, and you get a great education, and you love football, it's a great place to go.
Did you ever talk to Rams defensive coordinator Chris Shula about his grandfather?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And when I was at Florida Atlantic coach in the secondary, I got to meet Coach Shula down, in South Florida when we were playing FIU, and that was one of the cooler moments. I had never had an opportunity to really ever get to meet him, and I did then, so it was pretty cool.
Coach, how important, and I'm going to use your former, and I'm glad to say former head coach Sean McVay talked about this in a podcast. So when he went to L.A., he thought he was going to be an 11 personnel team. Like, that's what he wanted to be. That's what he thought he was going to be. He gets there, and he's got Robert Woods, and he's got Cooper Kupp, and he's like, wait a second, I think I can kind of be like a 12 team because these guys block so well as wide receivers. And so he kind of adapted and changed over the while. So how important is adaptability, not just season to season, but play to play, series to series, game to game? How important is that for you, that adaptability is a big thing, not staying stubborn to what it is that you want to do, but better for your team?
Yeah, it's important. I think you got to be able to adapt. And I think it gives you versatility. It's not just throwing fastballs. You got a changeup, you got a curveball, you got a slider, and you do that with different types of players. You do that with different personnel groupings. It could be different, multiple types of 12 personnel groupings utilizing different players, or heavier personnel 13, or it's 11 and 21, et cetera, whatever it is. But I think you can do a lot of different things and present and present some issues defensively, obviously too.
You like that 13 personnel, don't you?
Hey, I've been known to like some 13 personnel in my time, so yeah.
Exactly.
What about getting ready to call plays, preparing for that in the offseason? How can you do that before you get to the starting line in September? I know you have preseason games as well.
Yeah, well, a couple different ways. Obviously, training, the mindset, putting yourself through those processes when you're going through practice, live opportunities to call plays. I think all those things, factor into that.
Absolutely. Coach, you talked in your press conference, you were asked about, you got to New England in 2015, so you had an opportunity to be around Dante Scarnecchia.
Yes.
A lot of people have said he might be the best offensive line coach that has existed in the NFL.
Yep.
What has he meant to you, and what has he meant to your career, and how you've kind of learned the offensive line portion of this?
Yeah, he's meant a lot to me. He's a big mentor to me. He's always been supportive, and he mastered making some things that could be very complex, very simple and digestible for guys so that they can turn it loose, they can play fast, and they're rooted in fundamentals. Yep. And that's what I take from him, and he has always been a great sounding board for not just me, for a lot of us that have crossed paths with him, but he's an exceptional coach and a lot of respect for him.
Yep. All right, so Sean McVay has that recall ability. We've seen it. It's freakish, right?
Yeah.
So if we had a game show, McVay versus Belichick with recall of their own games, that'd be pretty good, right?
It'd be unbelievable. Yeah. I think you're onto something.
Are you like that as well?
I have some. Yeah, I can draw. Those two are rare.
Okay.
I have some obscure things, usually football related, that I can pull from past experiences. But I'd say those two are they're rare. Yeah. They're elite when it comes to that.
This McKinley, Canton, Ohio situation, like. There are so many coaches. Obviously, the McDaniels come out of there. You come out of there. There have been so many that have come out of there. What is it about that particular area, Nick, that it's become kind of it's not the cradle of coaches like Miami of Ohio, but in some sense it kind of is, because we've seen so many great coaches and players come out of that area. What is it about that area?
Yeah, well, Canton, Ohio. Canton McKinley's the high school. I did not go to McKinley, just for the record, but it's a great school. That area is Stark County, Ohio. There's 20 high schools or whatever there. The fabric of that community is football, and it's blue collar. It's tough people. It's a great place. And as a kid growing up, you play football on the street, you play in your backyard, and you dream of playing in those high school stadiums. And I think you're influenced by the great coaches we've had there, and there's a lot of great players. And I couldn't have dreamt of a better place to grow up. To be able to be obviously influenced by the game of football.
Did you give any thought to doing anything else with your life as you were growing up?
Zero.
It was coaching all the way.
I wanted to coach.
You haven't been here long, but I know you've been kind of locked in and doing what you have to do. But just your thoughts on the city of Houston and being here. Have you ever had much experience in Texas at all, other than traveling for games and such?
No.
What are your thoughts?
Just basically being here for games, practices, etc. It's a great city. There's a lot of energy. There's a lot of things to do. And there's a lot of places to go. So, I mean, it's a great city, and, excited to find my way around.
All right, so one more for the fans. What is the Nick Caley offense? What can you tell us today about the Nick Caley offense?
Yeah, tough, physical, getting the ball to our playmakers and being connected and playing smart football, not beating ourselves, taking care of the football, being disciplined, and competing for 4+ quarters, however long it takes us to get the job done.
Sounds great. Coach, thanks a lot for joining us.
Thanks for having me.